The desert wind carried the familiar scent of aviation fuel and hot metal as Senior Airman Maya Rodriguez stepped onto the tarmac at Forward Operating Base Thunder. The Arizona sun beat down mercilessly on the concrete, creating waves of heat that distorted the horizon, where four AH-64 Apache helicopters sat like sleeping predators. Maya clutched her maintenance kit tighter, her palms sweaty despite the dry climate. She had been stationed at Thunder for only 2 weeks, but already the routine felt as natural as breathing. Every morning at 600 hours, she would report to the flight line for pre-flight inspections, her keen eyes scanning every rivet, every cable, every component that could mean the difference between life and death for the pilots who trusted her work. Maya wasn't supposed to be here. Her original assignment had been to a comfortable desk job at Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado, pushing papers and maintaining computer systems. But when Sergeant First Class Danny Kim had been injured in a training accident, leaving the 12th Aviation Regiment short-handed, Maya had volunteered to fill the gap. Her father, a Vietnam veteran who had spent countless hours teaching her about aircraft mechanics in their garage, would have been proud. The lead Apache, tail number 07-03774, belonged to Chief Warrant Officer Jake Sullivan and his co-pilot, Warrant Officer Lisa Chen. Sullivan was a legend in the regiment, a pilot with over 3,000 flight hours who had earned his reputation during 3 deployments to Afghanistan. His weathered face and steady hands had guided countless missions, bringing every crew member home safely. Chen, on the other hand, was newer to the unit but had quickly proven herself as one of the most skilled gunners in the regiment. Maya approached the aircraft with reverence. The Apache stood nearly 15 feet tall, its tandem cockpit gleaming in the morning sun. The 30mm M230 chain gun mounted beneath the aircraft's nose pointed toward the ground, silent but intimidating. This particular helicopter had logged over 2,800 flight hours and had never experienced a major mechanical failure under Maya's care. As she began her inspection, Maya noticed Flight Chief Master Sergeant Robert Torres approaching from the operations building. Torres was a man who commanded respect through presence alone. Standing 6 feet 4 inches tall with broad shoulders and steel gray hair, he had been in the Air Force for 22 years. His uniform was always pristine, his bearing always military perfect, and his expectations always impossibly high. Torres had a reputation for being tough but fair, though Maya had only interacted with him briefly during her orientation. The other mechanics spoke of him in hushed tones, sharing stories of his legendary attention to detail and his ability to spot problems that others missed. Some called him a perfectionist. Others whispered that he was simply impossible to please. Maya continued her inspection, checking hydraulic lines and electrical connections with methodical precision. She had learned early in her career that rushing through maintenance procedures was a recipe for disaster. Her father had always said that an aircraft was only as safe as the mechanic who maintained it, and Maya took that responsibility seriously. The chain gun drew her attention as she worked her way around the aircraft. The M230 was a fearsome weapon, capable of firing 625 rounds per minute with devastating accuracy. Maya had seen video footage of the gun in action during training, watching in awe as the 30mm rounds tore through armored targets with ease. But today, something seemed different about the weapon's positioning. She crouched down beneath the nose of the aircraft, studying the gun mount more carefully. The elevation mechanism appeared to be slightly off-center, barely noticeable to the untrained eye, but potentially significant for weapons accuracy. Maya pulled out her tablet and began documenting the observation, taking detailed photographs from multiple angles. The sound of approaching footsteps on the tarmac made her look up. Chief Warrant Officer Sullivan was walking toward his aircraft, flight helmet tucked under his arm and a steaming cup of coffee in his hand. Sullivan had the easy confidence of a seasoned pilot, his movements economical and purposeful. Maya scrambled to her feet and snapped to attention. Sullivan was not only a superior officer, but also a pilot whose life depended on her work. The weight of that responsibility never left her shoulders. Sullivan smiled and waved casually, his approach friendly rather than formal. Maya had learned that many pilots preferred a relaxed relationship with their maintenance crews, understanding that trust and communication were essential for safety. Maya explained her observation about the chain gun mount, showing Sullivan the photographs on her tablet. The pilot studied the images carefully, his expression growing more serious as he understood the potential implications. A misaligned gun could mean missed targets, wasted ammunition, or worse, compromised mission effectiveness. Sullivan thanked Maya for her attention to detail and suggested that she document the issue formally for the maintenance supervisor. He also recommended that she discuss the matter with Flight Chief Torres, who would need to approve any corrective action before the aircraft could be cleared for flight. As Sullivan continued his pre-flight preparations, Maya felt a mixture of pride and apprehension. She had potentially identified a significant mechanical issue, but she also knew that challenging the status quo could be risky for a new airman. The chain gun had been signed off as serviceable during the previous day's inspection, which meant that someone had either missed the misalignment or deemed it acceptable. Maya gathered her courage and approached the operations building where Flight Chief Torres maintained his office. The building was a converted trailer that housed the squadron's administrative functions, its air conditioning working overtime against the desert heat. Maya knocked on Torres's door, her heart pounding as she waited for permission to enter. Torres looked up from a stack of maintenance reports, his expression neutral but attentive. Maya had rehearsed her presentation several times during the walk to his office, but standing before the flight chief made her mouth feel dry and her words seem inadequate. She began by explaining her discovery, showing Torres the same photographs she had shared with Chief Warrant Officer Sullivan. Torres studied the images with the same intensity he brought to all technical matters, his weathered hands holding the tablet steady as he zoomed in on specific details. Maya watched Torres's face for any sign of his reaction, but the flight chief maintained his professional composure. She could see him processing the information, considering the potential implications and weighing the available options. The silence stretched for what felt like an eternity before Torres finally spoke. His response was measured and professional, acknowledging Maya's observation while noting that the chain gun mount was within acceptable tolerances according to the technical manual. Torres explained that minor variations in positioning were normal and did not necessarily indicate a mechanical problem requiring immediate attention. Maya felt her confidence wavering as Torres continued his explanation. She wondered if she had overreacted to a normal variation, if her inexperience had led her to see problems where none existed. The flight chief's years of experience and technical knowledge far exceeded her own, and she began to question her judgment. But something in Torres's explanation didn't sit right with Maya. She had studied the technical specifications for the M230 chain gun extensively during her training, and she was certain that the positioning she had observed was outside the acceptable range. The misalignment might be subtle, but it was real and potentially significant. Maya found herself at a crossroads. She could accept Torres's assessment and move on, trusting in his experience and authority. Or she could stand by her observation, risking conflict with a superior officer, but potentially preventing a safety issue. The choice would define not only her immediate future, but also her integrity as a maintenance professional. The desert wind rattled the windows of the operations building as Maya considered her options. Outside, the Apache helicopters waited on the flight line, their crews preparing for another day of training missions. Chief Warrant Officer Sullivan would be expecting a final maintenance report before takeoff, and Flight Chief Torres was waiting for her response. Maya thought about her father's words about responsibility and the trust that pilots placed in their maintenance crews. She thought about the hundreds of hours of training that had brought her to this moment and the oath she had taken to protect and defend. Most importantly, She thought about the potential consequences of being wrong in either direction. The clock on Torres's wall ticked steadily as Maya gathered her resolve. Whatever happened next would test not only her technical knowledge, but also her courage under pressure. The young airman who had arrived at Forward Operating Base Thunder 2 weeks ago was about to face her first real challenge as a military maintenance professional. Maya took a deep breath and met Flight Chief Torres's steady gaze. Her voice was respectful but firm as she requested permission to perform additional measurements on the chain gun mount. She explained that she wanted to use precision instruments to verify the exact positioning, ensuring that her initial observation was either confirmed or corrected. Torres's expression remained unreadable as he considered her request. Maya could sense his evaluation of her character and professionalism in that moment. Finally, he granted permission for the additional inspection, but with a clear warning that any delay to the flight schedule would be her responsibility. Maya returned to the flight line with renewed determination and a borrowed precision measurement kit from the tool crib. The advanced instruments would provide exact readings that could eliminate any doubt about the chain gun's positioning. Chief Warrant Officer Sullivan watched from a distance as Maya set up her equipment, his flight preparations temporarily suspended. The measurements confirmed Maya's initial observation. The chain gun mount was indeed misaligned by 0.3 degrees beyond the acceptable tolerance specified in the technical manual. The deviation was small enough to escape casual notice, but significant enough to affect weapons accuracy during precision engagements. Maya documented her findings meticulously, taking detailed photographs and recording precise measurements. She also researched the aircraft's maintenance history, discovering that the gun mount had been recently serviced following a hard landing during a training exercise 3 weeks earlier. The connection between the recent maintenance and the current misalignment began to form a clearer picture. Armed with concrete evidence, Maya returned to Flight Chief Torres's office. This time, her presentation was supported by irrefutable technical data that clearly demonstrated the problem. Torres examined the measurements carefully, cross-referencing them with the technical specifications in the aircraft manual. The flight chief's demeanor shifted as he reviewed Maya's findings. His professional experience recognized the thoroughness of her work and the validity of her conclusions. Torres acknowledged that Maya had identified a legitimate maintenance issue that required correction before the aircraft could be cleared for flight operations. However, Torres also explained the complexity of the situation. Correcting the chain gun alignment would require specialized tools and expertise that were not immediately available at Forward Operating Base Thunder. The nearest qualified weapons technician was stationed at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, over 100 miles away, and arranging for his assistance could take several days. Maya learned that Chief Warrant Officer Sullivan's crew was scheduled for an important training mission later that afternoon. The exercise was part of a larger evaluation that would determine the squadron's readiness for an upcoming deployment. Delaying the mission would have significant consequences for the entire unit's training schedule and operational readiness. Torres presented Maya with a difficult choice. The chain gun misalignment was outside acceptable tolerances, but the deviation was relatively small and might not significantly impact the training mission's objectives. The flight chief could authorize a one-time flight with the understanding that the weapons system would be used only for simulated engagements without actual firing. Maya felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. She understood the importance of the training mission and the potential impact of her decision on the entire squadron. At the same time, she knew that compromising on maintenance standards could set a dangerous precedent and potentially compromise safety. The young airman requested a few minutes to consider the situation, and Torres granted her request. Maya walked back to the flight line, her mind racing through the various factors and potential consequences. She observed Chief Warrant Officer Sullivan and Warrant Officer Chen completing their pre-flight checks, their professional competence evident in every movement. Maya thought about the trust that pilots placed in their maintenance crews and the responsibility she bore for their safety. She also considered the broader implications of her decision for her career and her relationships with her supervisors and colleagues. The choice between following procedures strictly and accommodating operational needs was one that many maintenance professionals face throughout their careers. As Maya wrestled with her decision, she noticed Warrant Officer Chen approaching the aircraft. Chen was known throughout the squadron for her exceptional skills as a gunner and her meticulous attention to detail. Maya had heard stories of Chen's accuracy during live fire exercises and her ability to engage multiple targets with remarkable precision. Maya decided to share her concerns with Chen, explaining the chain gun misalignment and the potential impact on weapons accuracy. Chen listened carefully, asking detailed questions about the exact nature of the problem and the degree of deviation from specifications. Chen's response surprised Maya. The experienced gunner explained that precision weapons engagements required exact alignment for optimal effectiveness, and even small deviations could result in missed targets or reduced accuracy. Chen also mentioned that she had noticed slight inconsistencies during recent training exercises, but had attributed them to environmental factors rather than mechanical issues. The conversation with Chen reinforced Maya's conviction that the maintenance issue needed to be addressed before flight operations could continue. Maya realized that her role was not simply to identify problems, but also to advocate for solutions that prioritized safety and operational effectiveness. Maya returned to Torres's office with her decision. She respectfully but firmly recommended that the aircraft be grounded until the chain gun alignment could be properly corrected. She acknowledged the impact on the training schedule, but emphasized that the potential risks outweighed the operational inconveniences. Torres listened to Maya's reasoning, his expression revealing both frustration and grudging respect for her principled stand. The flight chief had spent enough years in the military to recognize integrity when he saw it, even when it complicated his own responsibilities. After a long pause, Torres made his decision. He would ground the aircraft and contact Davis-Monthan Air Force Base to request immediate technical assistance. The training mission would be postponed, and Torres would personally explain the situation to the squadron commander. Maya felt a mixture of relief and apprehension as Torres began making phone calls to arrange for the necessary support. She had taken a stand based on her professional judgment and technical knowledge, but the consequences of that decision would affect many people beyond herself. The news of the grounded aircraft spread quickly through the squadron. Some personnel expressed frustration at the delayed training mission, while others praised Maya for her attention to detail and commitment to safety standards. Maya found herself at the center of discussions about the balance between operational needs and maintenance requirements. Chief Warrant Officer Sullivan approached Maya later that morning, his expression serious but not hostile. The experienced pilot thanked Maya for her diligence and explained that he supported her decision to ground the aircraft. Sullivan shared stories of missions where mechanical problems had compromised effectiveness or safety, reinforcing the importance of maintaining strict standards. Warrant Officer Chen also sought out Maya, expressing appreciation for the young airman's thoroughness and professionalism. Chen explained that weapons accuracy was crucial for mission success, and that Maya's discovery could prevent problems during future operations when precision would be absolutely critical. The weapons technician from Davis-Monthan Air Force Base arrived at Forward Operating Base Thunder early the following morning. Staff Sergeant Marcus Williams was a veteran with 15 years of experience maintaining and repairing helicopter weapons systems. Williams brought specialized tools and expertise that would be required to properly correct the chain gun alignment. Maya assisted Williams during the repair process, eager to learn from his experience and expand her own technical knowledge. The alignment correction was more complex than Maya had initially realized, requiring precise adjustments to multiple components and careful calibration of the entire weapon system. Williams complimented Maya on her identification of the problem, noting that the misalignment was subtle enough that many technicians might have missed it. He also explained that the issue likely resulted from improper reassembly following the previous maintenance, emphasizing the importance of following procedures exactly and double-checking all work. The repair process took most of the day, with Williams and Maya working methodically through each step of the alignment procedure. Maya documented the entire process, taking notes and photographs that would help her perform similar repairs in the future. The experience was invaluable professional development that would serve her well throughout her career. As the day progressed, Maya became aware that Flight Chief Torres had been defending her decision to senior leadership. The squadron commander had questioned the necessity of grounding the aircraft for what some perceived as a minor issue, but Torres had supported Maya's assessment and recommendations. Maya realized that Torres's support was based not only on the technical merits of her findings, but also on his evaluation of her character and potential. The flight chief saw in Maya the qualities of a dedicated maintenance professional who would prioritize safety and standards regardless of external pressures. The successful completion of the chain gun alignment marked a turning point in Maya's relationship with both Torres and the squadron. She had proven herself capable of identifying complex problems, standing by her convictions, and working collaboratively to find solutions. The respect she earned from her colleagues was evident in their interactions and their willingness to seek her input on technical matters. Chief Warrant Officer Sullivan's crew was rescheduled for their training mission the following week. With their aircraft now fully operational and weapons ready, Maya performed the pre-flight inspection with the same attention to detail that had led to her discovery of the alignment problem, her confidence strengthened by the successful resolution of the situation. As Maya completed her inspection and signed off on the aircraft's readiness for flight, she reflected on the lessons learned during the previous few days. She had discovered that technical competence alone was not sufficient for success as a maintenance professional. She also needed the courage to advocate for her findings and the interpersonal skills to work effectively with others. The experience had also taught Maya about the complex relationships between different roles within the squadron and the importance of trust and communication in maintaining operational effectiveness. She understood that her role as a maintenance technician was not separate from the larger mission, but integral to the success of every operation. 3 months had passed since Maya's discovery of the chain gun misalignment, and forward operating base Thunder had settled into the familiar rhythm of training operations and deployment preparations. The incident had become part of squadron lore, with Maya earning recognition as the young airman who had prevented a potential operational problem through her attention to detail and professional courage. Maya's reputation within the 12th Aviation Regiment had grown considerably. Pilots and crew chiefs sought her opinion on complex maintenance issues, and her thoroughness had become the standard by which other technicians measured their own work. Flight Chief Torres had assigned her to increasingly complex projects, recognizing her technical competence and reliability. The relationship between Maya and Torres had evolved significantly since their initial confrontation over the chain gun issue. Torres had come to view Maya as one of his most promising technicians, someone who combined technical knowledge with the integrity necessary for critical safety decisions. Maya, in turn, had developed deep respect for Torres's experience and his commitment to maintaining the highest standards. The squadron had successfully completed its deployment readiness evaluation, with Chief Warrant Officer Sullivan's crew earning commendation for their exceptional performance during live fire exercises. The precision of their weapons engagements, made possible by Maya's insistence on proper gun alignment, had contributed significantly to their outstanding scores. Maya had been selected for advanced technical training at the Army Aviation Technical Test Center in Arizona, an opportunity that would expand her expertise and open new career possibilities. The training program was highly competitive, typically reserved for senior non-commissioned officers with extensive experience. Maya's selection as a junior airman was unprecedented and reflected the high regard in which she was held by her supervisors. On a particularly hot Thursday morning in late September, Maya was performing routine maintenance on a different Apache helicopter when Flight Chief Torres approached with an unusual expression on his face. Torres held a small wooden box in his hands, and his typically serious demeanor seemed softer than usual. Torres asked Maya to step away from her work for a moment, explaining that he had something important to discuss with her. Maya set down her tools and gave Torres her full attention, curious about the unusual formality of his approach. Torres began by recounting the events surrounding the chain gun misalignment issue, describing how Maya's actions had demonstrated the qualities of an exceptional maintenance professional. He spoke about the importance of technical competence, professional integrity, and the courage to make difficult decisions under pressure. Maya listened with growing surprise as Torres continued his remarks. She had not expected such recognition for what she considered to be simply doing her job according to established procedures and safety standards. The flight chief's words carried weight not only because of his position, but also because of his reputation for measured and honest assessments. Torres opened the wooden box to reveal a distinctive patch featuring the silhouette of an Apache helicopter surrounded by crossed wrenches and the motto, "Precision through Excellence." The patch was a custom design that Torres had commissioned to recognize outstanding achievement in aircraft maintenance, and Maya was the first recipient of what he intended to become a squadron tradition. The presentation of the patch was more than ceremonial recognition. It represented Torres's acknowledgement that Maya had challenged him to reconsider his own standards and approaches. The young airman's insistence on addressing the chain gun misalignment, despite potential consequences for her career, had reminded Torres of the fundamental principles that should guide all maintenance decisions. Maya accepted the patch with genuine emotion, understanding its significance not only as personal recognition, but also as Torres's endorsement of her potential for future leadership. The flight chief explained that he intended to recommend Maya for early promotion to staff sergeant, an advancement that would acknowledge her exceptional performance and provide opportunities for increased responsibility. As Torres concluded the presentation, Maya realized that their relationship had come full circle from the initial tension over the chain gun issue. The flight chief, who had once questioned her judgment, now viewed her as a protégé worthy of mentoring and advancement. Maya's willingness to challenge authority when necessary had earned Torres's respect rather than his displeasure. The presentation ceremony attracted the attention of other squadron members, including Chief Warrant Officer Sullivan and Warrant Officer Chen. Both pilots expressed their appreciation for Maya's contribution to their operational effectiveness and safety. Sullivan mentioned that he had specifically requested Maya as his crew's dedicated maintenance technician for their upcoming deployment. Maya's success had also caught the attention of higher headquarters, and she received notification that she had been selected for the Distinguished Achievement Award for Junior Enlisted Personnel. The award recognized her technical expertise and professional leadership in identifying and resolving the chain gun alignment issue. The recognition brought increased responsibilities and expectations. Torres assigned Maya to lead a team of junior technicians in developing improved inspection procedures for weapons systems. The project would combine Maya's technical knowledge with her ability to communicate effectively with other maintenance professionals. Maya's new role required her to train and mentor junior airmen, passing on the lessons she had learned about balancing technical requirements with operational needs. She emphasized the importance of thorough documentation, precise measurement, and the courage to advocate for safety regardless of external pressures. The training program at the Army Aviation Technical Test Center provided Maya with advanced knowledge of helicopter systems and weapons technology. She returned to Forward Operating Base Thunder with enhanced skills and a broader perspective on maintenance challenges. Her training report included recommendations for improving maintenance procedures that were subsequently adopted by the entire regiment. Flight Chief Torres had established the Precision Through Excellence Award as an annual recognition for outstanding maintenance achievement. Maya's patch became the template for future awards, serving as a symbol of the standards that Torres expected from his technicians. The award ceremony became an important squadron tradition that reinforced the connection between individual excellence and mission success. Maya's influence extended beyond her immediate duties as a maintenance technician. Her example inspired other junior personnel to approach their work with similar attention to detail and professional commitment. The culture of the maintenance shop gradually shifted toward higher standards and increased accountability. The deployment to Afghanistan provided Maya with the opportunity to apply her skills in operational conditions, where the consequences of maintenance decisions were most critical. Her meticulous approach to aircraft preparation contributed to the squadron's exceptional safety record and mission effectiveness during their 6-month deployment. Upon returning from deployment, Maya was promoted to staff sergeant ahead of schedule, recognizing her demonstrated leadership and technical expertise. Torres recommended her for assignment as a crew chief, a position that would provide broader responsibility for aircraft maintenance and crew training. Maya's relationship with Torres had evolved into a mentor-student dynamic that benefited both individuals. Torres found that Maya's fresh perspective and willingness to question established procedures helped him identify areas for improvement in squadron operations. Maya gained invaluable experience and guidance from Torres's decades of maintenance expertise. The chain gun incident had become a case study used in maintenance training programs throughout the Army aviation community. Maya's decision-making process and Torres's support for her recommendations were cited as examples of effective leadership and professional judgment under pressure. Years later, when Maya had been promoted to Master Sergeant and was serving as a maintenance supervisor herself, she would often reflect on the lessons learned during her early days at Forward Operating Base Thunder. The experience had taught her that technical competence alone was insufficient for leadership. She also needed the courage to make difficult decisions and the interpersonal skills to work effectively with others. Flight Chief Torres, now approaching retirement after 25 years of service, took pride in Maya's continued success and leadership development. Their professional relationship had demonstrated the importance of mentorship and the value of challenging each other to maintain the highest standards. Maya kept the Precision Through Excellence patch in a place of honor in her office, a reminder of the moment when her commitment to technical standards and professional integrity had earned the respect of a demanding supervisor. The patch represented not only personal achievement, but also the beginning of a career dedicated to excellence in aircraft maintenance. The lessons learned from the chain gun misalignment incident continued to influence Maya's approach to leadership and decision-making throughout her career. She understood that maintaining aircraft was not simply a technical challenge, but a sacred responsibility that demanded unwavering commitment to safety and precision. As Maya prepared for her own promotion to flight chief, she carried forward the standards and principles that Torres had demonstrated during their time together. The tradition of excellence that had begun with a young airman's careful observation of an Apache's gun mount would continue through Maya's leadership of the next generation of maintenance professionals.